gonna need my notes. Have a chance to switch between the two packets. Yes, today we'll be talking about AI and in this session and how AI is changing and how is AI improving and how is AI doing stuff within the music industry and in particular with respect to music content. I would like to start by asking our speakers to introduce themselves. And Liwen, let's start with you. Please feel free to go with Chinese.
I speak Chinese. Should I stand up? 我说中文，我是张黎文。我曾经是一个创作人，作词、作曲跟制作音乐。之前是有帮像周迅、李宇春他们去制作唱片。然后同时呢，我也是一个科技公司的创业者，板趣科技。然后我们是做数字内容跟科技的结合这样子。然后我现在还有一个身份，就是在这一次的这个大模型的浪潮里面呢，我们现在有一个就是 lab， 这个 lab 叫行星432，就是我们纠集了一些音乐家，还有一些 AI 科学家，就是想通过说在有一个充分的行业知识和行业经验的前提下，通过 AI 可以探索出什么更有价值的情况和作品这样子。这是我的介绍，谢谢。
Andrew, please.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew. Actually, I also have different roles. First of all, I previously worked for Tencent and Sequoia as an investor. Actually, my first deal is the merger and listing of TME, yeah, Tencent Music Group. And also my second role is independent musician. So you can also find my original songs on QQ Music, Cloud, NetEase Cloud Music, Spotify, and Apple Music. Because I am an ethnic member, yeah, Tujia member, Tujia group. So I'm enthusiastic about promoting our ethnic music to promote Chinese music to the world. Last but not least, I am a founder of an AI company. Our company's name is WKZ AI Research Institute. So nowadays, actually, we serve the SMEs, the small and medium enterprises in China to adapt to the AI era. So that's what I'm doing with my team members. I'm really happy to be here to talk about both AI and music because I'm really passionate about these two factors. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dmytro?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dmytro. I am the CTO at Harmix, where we create advanced AI music discovery tools. I also, my background is in machine learning. I hold a master's degree in advanced computer science from the University of Oxford. I've been doing in research for multiple years in different industries, but specifically in the past 4 years working a lot in AI applications for music. So really also very passionate about this topic, and thank you for having me on the panel. It will be very interesting to share the thoughts today.
Josh?
Hello, my name is Joshua Weikert. I'm co-founder and CTO of Cyanite, and we are the world's leading service for music tagging and recommendation algorithms. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we don't have much time, so let's just dig deep and let's start by looking at analyzing music content at a deeper level. Earlier in the previous session, we were talking about metadata. So tell us, and we can get started backwards. Josh, please. First, how can AI understand music without that?
So basically, the AI is listening to music, kind of like we listen to music, and then derive knowledge or intelligence from the music it listens to. So, and we at Cyanite, we try to create something like a language, a representational language of music in a technical form, and that's how we kind of like approach this topic.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna jump in between, so don't feel free to leave stuff out for anyone who's after you. But in lay people's term, how does really AI get to understand, for example, the genre or instrumentation or vocal? How does that happen?
So I would probably start by saying that one of the most important things when creating advanced machine learning tools is actually the data set that the models get to be trained on. And in our case at Harmix, we utilized some of our proprietary catalogs where we had labels specifically for each music track. We had very detailed descriptions, and it was a manually crafted data set in a way. We had some also user-generated content and some partners licensing their content to us to train the algorithms on. So I think everything starts really from having a robust data set that are unbiased and that really would drive the quality of the algorithms. But then the way that machine learning in general works is that you figure out, you let the model train, which means you let it learn the patterns in the data. So in our case with music, we let it listen to the music track, perform advanced audio processing, and really map the different audio features to things that we can understand, like a genre or an instrument. And after that, you let it run and train, and you validate it multiple times. This is basically, I would say in simple terms, the overall process of how you create these tools.
And Andrew, okay, so sort of just to summarize it, basically what we need is, we need a data set, which means we need a lot of music that is properly tagged by humans, that is checked multiple times, that instrumentation, which means which instruments are being played on this particular track, etc., etc. All of this information is human entered, verified, and only then AI can be trained on that data. So, what happens after the model is trained? What's next in the whole chain of events?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, as you mentioned, the database is the first thing. Based on the data, actually AI could recognize the pattern. For example, when I work for Tencent, actually we have a lot of database for the voices. Not only the superstars, the celebrities or professional musicians, but also we have an app named 全民 K 歌 or We Sing. That is to say, we can connect the data from the ordinary people. If you just like to sing the songs, you can use this app to sing the songs like online KTV. So based on this huge database, the AI can recognize the pattern of the lyrics, melodies, and genres. In 2017, when I worked for Sequoia Capital, the first AI project I looked at is a student's project in Tsinghua University. At that time, I remember they shoot in the office of Sequoia that to me that they asked the AI to mimic the melodies of a song of Jay Chou. So I think to summarize, I think AI is trying to mimic the pattern, but it's not real creation. Yeah, that's my point. Thank you.
Yes, and before we carry on, just for the audience, this is academic, so fair usage is allowed. Tsinghua University, no problems with Jay Chou's copyrights there. But Liwen, how do you actually use this in practical business terms? And feel, if you can, and feel free to answer in Chinese, yeah. If you want to translate, please. My question is, how do you use all of this into practical business application?
我现在其实还举不好商业应用的例子，但是我觉得 AI 在图创作的这个领域会有很好的应用，因为可以说有各个方面的应用，从一个创作者的训练学习。然后到一个创作者在创作时候的作为一个辅助工具，可以快速低成本的去生成一个可用的 demo 或者是一个片段。刚才我说的这两个东西，在现在音乐的创作当中，应该都是非常就是重要和广泛创作者需要的两样东西。那之前在生成这些东西的时候，创作者其实都需要花非常大的精力。甚至是财力，就是要花钱去做，但是现在可能它更容易。那所以从这个角度来讲，它可以很好的去帮助创作者去实现有商业价值的作品。所以我觉得在创作项上，其实 AI 是有很鲜明的作用的。
To I don't know. Justin Timberlake, and it's always recommending some of the Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. AI can also break those like famous filter bubble. And if you, for example, start a new boy band tomorrow, they will also be able to be found because it sounds similar, and it's not because of people that listen to Justin Timberlake also listen to Backstreet Boys or something like that. So that's one of the most important things to actually, not only for artists, but also for companies that have huge catalogs to find hidden gems in their libraries, and not be stuck in those echo chambers and those popularity traps anymore.
So is it fair to say that more traditional recommendation would be based on what everybody else does? It's getting recommended to you because everybody else that has a similar profile, whereas AI recommendation is at a deeper level?
Yes, I would agree with that description. Very important point that Joshua is mentioning, that with AI analyzing music, it really levels the playing field for all of the artists and really allows the new artists to be discovered. I would also compare this system to another traditional approach, which is based on filtering music based on specific genres, instruments, and other labels. In that case, the options to search for music are quite limited. And what AI really allows the users to do is really be as expressive as possible, as the language allows them to be. So one of the recent features is the ability to search for music using natural language, where users can express their search needs in any way, in any words that they can find. So we usually categorize that in a few broad segments. So whenever you're searching with natural language, you can either provide a musical description. For example, you can say a dark orchestral track with percussion, and then the AI would understand what the song needs to be, the sound, or what it needs to sound like. It can also be a reference. You can say, I want music that sounds like the soundtrack of the Pirates of the Caribbean. And it can also be it can be a general story. You can say, father and a son fishing by the lake, and you will get the recommendations for that. So it's really a much more advanced interface for users to express their music discovery.
Yes, please, Andre. How do you apply this within your? I mean, can you tell us a bit more about some business cases or some use cases?
Sure. Actually, for as the data you mentioned, actually, when we train the AI for the recommendation algorithms, actually the data could be divided into three perspectives. One is a creator, for example, male, female, or the popularity and nationality or culture. And the second thing actually is about the songs. Actually, we tag some tags make some tags for the songs. But in China, actually we make more usage of the user behaviors. Actually, when I listen to the kick music or the cloud music, actually I used to use I prefer to use the recommended playlist. So actually AI could learn my behavior because I always like to listen to someone's music. That's one thing. Another important perspective is network-based, social network-based. The AI could guess, well, if you are classmates, you are friends, if you like this song, I guess you also like this song. So we make use of the database from different perspectives to make the recommendations as more accurate as possible. Thank you.
Right, and Liwen, same question.
孟老师，在您的公司呢，您是如何用 AI 去？事实上就是我们在应该最近3到5年的工作当中，都是推荐音乐的推荐都是以算法驱动的，所以严格意义上来说，它也是一种 AI。所以其实我觉得我们之前的这个不管是不同性别的歌手，然后流派，然后其他的分类，其实这个应该是我认为是标准的算法推荐。但是就是在现在的这个 AI 的技术快速的发展之下，其实我们是会看到更多的可能性，比如说是在更垂直的场景里面，能够做到真正的更好的推荐。我觉得它当中有一个就是道理是说，其实人对于音乐的需求是来自于每一个人不同的就是生活经历，或者是各种每一个人都是不同的。那音乐它本身就是个很感性的东西，如果人要找到适合的音乐，它可能不只是白流派、白艺人，因为在我们刚做唱片的时代，大家就是喜欢艺人，但是现在可能我听一首歌，我也不知道这个歌是谁唱的，我就觉得它好听。所以其实人的欣赏习惯也变了，然后人的需求也更个性化了。那我觉得在这个前提下，其实 AI 可以驱动一个更契合当场需求的一个推荐，这个才是AI 和上一代的推荐算法我觉得差别。然后我们有一个例子，就是说我们在今年跟有一个我很喜欢的音乐的学者，他是做音乐治疗的，叫张小颖博士，你可能知道，在中国的，然后他可以用音乐去治甚至是瘫痪一样的这样的病人。那他有一个最重要的说法，就是他说其实他用音乐去治病的时候，这个病人的这叫社会生活史是最重要的。就是每一个人是不同的，可能对有的病人来说，这样的音乐就可以治病。但是呢，如果他们通过人脑去辨别什么样的音乐适合这个病人，能够激活这个病人就非常难。但如果他就能非常快速的找到什么样的音乐可以激活这个病人。所以这也是一种推荐，它是在一个垂直场景里面的精准推荐可以说，然后能够最大效能的产生一个结果。我觉得这个是我觉得很有意思的，后面可能会有更多这样的场景会出来，在 AI 得到就是在 AI 这个技术下支持下会有很多的应用。
感谢Liwen老师。To translate for Liwen, so in the past 3 to 5 years, using algorithmic recommendations, essentially artist gender, genre, these are standard tagging music algorithms. With AI, we're really able to kind of improve the recommendations, as what everyone has been saying as well. And essentially every person's music needs is based on their own experiences. And if they like a song, they want to find more songs like it, even if they can't explain specifically what the music is in precise musicologist terms. Right? So with AI, they're really able to find, or more precisely find the music that fits their needs. And Liwen wanted to point out that there's artist Dr. Zhang, where for their music therapy patients, they were able to use AI that fits more precisely what the patient's needs are. And for these patients who, even if they're not able to explain like AI like music by a specific artist or a specific genre, if they just explain or describe the music and how it makes them feel, they're able to use AI to more precisely find the music fits. And essentially, one foresees that there will be more use cases like this for AI in the future.
Thank you, thank you. Now we talked about what doors AI can open. Let's talk about what are the limitations of the current AI systems. No need specific order, but yeah,
I can still start. I mean, one limitation is probably why we are here, because of the different cultural backgrounds, and their different understandings of music. So, for example, if you go to the Middle East, music is minor music is considered to be sad, while in Western music it's considered to be the other way around. So that's one of the limitations. So we have to have a very good data set, as is already mentioned, to reflect all of the cultural differences and also pop cultural references and differences. That would be one of the limitations.
Yeah, I would also expand Joshua's point by saying that this subjectivity of of music perception, even in general, is not only it doesn't only relate to how people perceive music, but also how they search for music. So we had, for example, some cases where music supervisors were using some specific words that they thought that they put their own meaning into. One recent case we had was a music supervisor searching for spicy music, and it's really hard to say what does it really mean. In our system, we understand it in one way, and the person might mean in another. So really, how subjective the music search is probably one other limitation to mention.
And for limitations, first I want to emphasize is the data connection. Yeah, because the music companies connect the data from the apps based on the user behaviors, but to some extent, it's a private asset for the users. Actually, in April this year, I was involved in the draft of generative AI data rule, which is invalid nationwide. So what we try to do is to protect the data privacy of the users. Yeah, because the data is the food of AI, so we have to make the food safe. Second thing is the recommendation bias. Yeah, even though we listen to the music based on a recommendation algorithm, but is it fair? Is there any cultural bias or something? For example, I am an ethnic group member, so I'm afraid the minority music cannot be listened by the broad audiences. Last thing is the digital gap. Even though AI is very advanced, we talk about AI in Shanghai, but there are a lot of cities which are not as developed as Shanghai or Beijing. But the students in their classrooms, can they use AI to learn music? Do they know what AI is? I think this might be, the gap should be narrowed by our efforts. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that's Shanghai versus the rest of China. I think this is just in general everywhere around the world. There's I have people and friends all over the world that some of them embrace AI and others they just think it's useless for whatever reason. But my point is I think this is just this is everywhere around the world where people have or know or don't know about AI. Liwen, please, if you could just anything that you can add in terms of limitations. What are the current limitations that you experience? Do you know about?
我特别同意刚才那个主持人讲的，还有杜宇讲的，就是说，有的人觉得 AI 特别好用，特别会带来鼓励，但有的人其实，就是可能对他来说没有差别，有没有 AI。然后其实我觉得音乐也是这样一个东西，就是有的人会从音乐中获得特别多，但是也有的人可能就是在人生中就是音乐占比并不是太大。但是就是我的想法是说，我觉得 AI 这个技术其实它会帮助人拓展这个边界，就是会让更多的人更容易去消化音乐。我倒不觉得这个是限制的问题，因为可能我们现在会把 AI 想成一个具体的东西，但是其实 AI 它是一个 base，对它其实比如说我们是汉族人，对吧？然后一说汉族人，我们就觉得汉族人就是听音乐根本不会跳舞，然后非常的就是我必须要听到歌词，我才知道这个音乐在说什么。但是放到很多地方，哪怕就是在中国，新疆人一听音乐就会跳舞，所以其实这也是一种限制。但是有可能 AI 如果可以帮助汉族人去创造，让大家通过 AI 去表达自己通过音乐，就比如说我自己写一首歌，我不会跳舞。做一个限制。
Liwen said that she basically agrees with what everyone has said. You know, some people embrace AI technology, others are repelled by it, and this is pretty much the same with people's preferences for music as well, and how much music plays parts in their lives. Some people really, it's a daily part of their life. They spend all their time making music, creating music, but others, it's just a very minor. And she believes that with AI, this can actually bring music to more people and to make music a bigger part of people's daily lives. And this, essentially, AI is not a limit per se, it's more of a foundation in which we build upon. And we then really have people kind of break the musical stereotypes as well as the stereotypes that people believe certain people have about music. For example, ethnically Han Chinese, people say like, oh, you don't know how to dance music, like you have to look at lyrics, etc. So maybe other ethnic minorities in China, like, you listen to music and they're able to dance like, naturally. Like, these are kind of stereotypes that she believes that AI uses so
Yes, I think there are 2 points that were touched upon, and I meant to ask questions about. So let's try and see if we can uncover some of these biases. As one recommendation of biases, but also training set biases. So what are the ways to avoid that, and what is the current situation in terms of recommendation systems? And you can speak from experience, or by all means. Anyone wants to start?
Yeah. I can start maybe. I would say that, well, the core idea to deal with bias is first to try to make the data set as to cover as many different, for example, genres and cultures as possible. It is still difficult to arrange. So, for example, we had a very interesting use case at Harmix where an indie production music came to us from India, and they had very interesting classification of their music. It was rooted deeply into the Indian culture, and they had a variety of different Indian genres that we didn't work with before. So the way we dealt with that situation to not introduce additional bias, we asked if it might be possible to fine-tune our models on their music for the models to be more accurate. And they were willing to go with that. So that's what we did. We used their data set, their music, and our models, and fine-tuned, meaning make them more personalized and more acquainted with the new music genres that the models haven't seen before. And in that way, we were able to deal with that particular example. I think that may talk to the point on bias, of how to really mitigate it, because it's really hard. It's like a never-ending challenge. There is always something that will be there, and it's just our main goal is to find it and deal with it.
Anyone wants to add something to that? So my next question is similar. It goes again towards biases, but also understanding cultural and experiential. Understanding the user from a cultural and experiential perspective. How valuable is traditional music to you guys? In terms of both of these cultural aspects and as well as bias aspects. Dmytro talked about Indian music. Would recommendation get better if you have access to a lot of traditional music from different parts of the world? Bill?
I guess so. I mean, the more the better. I mean, Dmytro, you already said it's a process which needs to have like this open mindset. So it will never be perfect. Machine learning models will never be perfect. They require the openness to actually learn and correct mistakes, and correct biases, and all that stuff. So, and I think especially traditional music, also from a musicology kind of standpoint, there is an evolution of music, and there's kind of like a system of how music evolved into what, and so I think traditional music is really like also gold for us, like, or food for our classifiers. So really valuable, I would say.
I would also add to that maybe there was a study a few years ago where they took more than 500 participants from both the US and China. They had people from like Michigan and Idaho, I think, and in China also a rural region, I think of Diamond, and they compared how they perceive their traditional music, and they took the stories and the audiovisual stories in each respective country and tried and asked participants to match music to the relevant story. And they saw that within a traditional context of each country, participants did very well. But when intermixed, when the US people tried matching the Chinese music, they made the correspondence was not correct, not as originally intended. So it really shows, and I think one of the main outcomes of that was that the different cultures perceive music differently, and primarily it's the main feature that's different is are the harmonies of music. So harmonies are perceived differently. For example, and whereas the temporal components of music, like rhythm, BPM, are generally broadly perceived the same. So I think that's one of the outcomes of the research.
Good, thanks for sharing that. And we've got a few minutes left, so let's try and wrap this conversation. What do you envision the future of AI could be in terms of not only analysis, not only recommendations, but let's say in the next couple of years, 3 years, I dare not go further in the future. So, what's the future of AI? Liwen?
就是因为我刚才说了，我自己的认识是，我觉得 AI 是一个改变，它会改变很多事情。然后我觉得具体的一个改变，我觉得是会让我认为会有很好的一个效果。就是说，我觉得比如说 AI 的推荐，当它可以结合每一个人的，比如说生理指标的数据，这些数据可以唤起一个个性化的推荐，然后包括可能它把场景相关的一些信息也加入到这个推荐的一个条件里面的时候，我觉得这个推荐会非常有意思。就是我具象化一点说，就是每一个人之前我们都可能会听这个 能够有适合你的音乐，甚至能够有及时为你创作的这种 AI generate 的音乐，其实我觉得会是一个特别大的改变这个就是仅仅是这样一个应用，我觉得都会让人很兴奋。然后我也知道有一些团队是在做这样的相关的事情。
So AI is, to reiterate, AI is essentially a foundation. And when AI is able to, in the future, incorporate a person's, for example, physiological metadata and incorporate that into their music recommendations, then this will be something to really look forward to. And for example, when a person listens to workout music, everyone's reactions, how their body reacts to this music can be different. And so if we're able to take that data and incorporate it into music recommendations, we'll be able to more precisely find workout music that works for specific user. And Liwen mentioned that she knows that there are people that are out there, teams out there already doing this.
I'm very much looking forward to utilizing music that gets feedback from bodily functions like heart rate or levels of adrenaline and stuff like this, that actually gets feedback to the recommendation system and it tweaks. Whether it's AI-generated music or human-generated music, it doesn't matter, but that can improve the performance of the person in terms of physical performance just by teaming up the two. That's just something I'm personally very much looking forward to. Yes, please, Andrew.
I think the future of AI, the thing I am most interested in is to lower the barrier of playing the music. Because, for example, in the past, the KTV lowers the barrier of singing the song. I think AI could lower the barrier of creating a song. Because I think music is not a privilege for only professional musicians. I think music is the rights for everyone to enjoy the music. So I think the best thing of the synergy of AI and music is to let everyone could create their own songs. Thank you.
Yeah, I would probably say that generative music is something that was already discussed on the panels today and will be discussed later today. It's going to change how the field operates and really have some impact. We'll see to which degree based on the copyright and legislation and everything else. The other thing I would mention is just the new way of exploring music and doing music discovery. I would say conversational interface is something that I see as a great potential future feature of how people look for music, where they can chat with a personal assistant and explore their ideas in multiple different dimensions and multiple modalities, and we would have an algorithm that would be able to find good recommendations for the person. I think that might be a very interesting and powerful way where the industry might go.
Yeah, I might continue here. So it's a very tough question. I mean, what is the future like? But I'm trying to actually put out my thoughts about that. We are working on a language for music, because music is in the end a language for emotions, for heart rate. It's kind of like a very strong language, and I think we are only about 20% of like uncovering all the details of this language. And with all the technology that is coming out, we more and more understand this language that has always been there with humanity. And when we are there, we have an AI agent that can translate what we need. For example, I need a lowered heart rate, and the AI can help us to get there, or something like this. It's very, I think the possibilities are very, very crazy, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I'm optimistic about AI because I choose to be optimistic. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of years of suffering. So I do prefer to believe in that AI will bring good to humanity. What happens? Who knows? But what I wanted to do is I wanted to announce that on Sunday at 10 a.m. we'll be holding the IMX app startup roadshow. So if you want to learn more about the latest advancements in AI and any other technology related to music, please come back here on the stage on Sunday at 10 a.m. And with that, let me just have Jim translate this in Chinese.
好的，那这样我们就结束本轮的这个讨论。然后想跟大家说一下，就是我们如果大家对 AI 这个话题就是想更加的去了解的话，我们在周日的时候10点在这个台上会有个特别的活动，然后欢迎到时候大家来参加。谢谢。
With that, I would like to thank everyone here on the stage. Thanks, Jim, for the translation, and thank you all for being here with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.